We're back at the Zoholics 2024 conference in Austin, Texas, with 6'5" on the road. I'm Cory Johnson, Lisa Martin with me as well. And there's no better way to understand what a product does and how well it does it than to talk to the users of that product.
Definitely. We're very excited to welcome David Fauser to the program, the VP of Sales, Marketing, and Strategy at CIMCO. David, thank you so much for joining us on 6'5" on the road today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So let's start by giving the audience just a little bit of a level set about what CIMCO is. I know environmental sustainability, but give us kind of that elevator pitch.
Sure, yeah. We're a 100-year-old company. So we started back at the turn of the century, back in the 1900s, and we do refrigeration. And so back then, our biggest competition was ice from Lake Ontario. And people would harvest the ice, and they would use that to cool their things. And so we developed industrial refrigeration, and then we went from there. So we've always used natural refrigerants, which don't cause any harm to the environment. So as we're looking at global warming.
So not Freon.
Not Freon, yeah, that's right, because those cause the global warming. And so, yeah, that's what our designs include. So that's a sustainability angle. So we design, we engineer, we manufacture, we install, and then we service industrial thermal systems. So that's what we do.
I looked at the website, over 7,000 customers now. Running marketing, talk to me about what your marketing organization was like before, trying to work with global customers, different systems. What were some of the challenges before you brought in Zoho's technology?
Well, I mean, I think the company, for the most part, was just repeat customers, and we were really focusing on getting new customers, which sounds pretty crazy, but being a 100-year-old company, you have those established networks. I think once we really started to figure out...
Where do you sell to?
Oh, we sell to cold storage. We sell to, we built half the world's hockey rinks.
Well, you really are Canadian.
Yeah, that's right. And then we're into all sorts of anything that requires some sort of refrigeration. And
I'm thinking curling. There's the Iditarod. I'm thinking of other Canadian. I don't know.
There's lots of things. Yeah,
but all over the world, not just in Canada.
Yeah, well, mostly North America, and we're into a lot of food processing. I mean, a big part of our business is food processing, is getting food on people's tables, right from the farm to the fork, as they say, right. And there's all refrigeration all in that whole process. So we have about 130 salespeople. We've got 22 offices, and so from a marketing perspective, there's a lot of repeat customers. But with the whole thing coming up with the sustainability angle, we said, well, hold on for a second. Our refrigerants can help a lot of other people out, and we didn't even have a marketing department. Oh, wow. And then so we started a marketing department.
Don't tell her that. Yeah, sir.
Yeah, well, it's very important. It's very important. Yeah. So since we've been able to do that, share a story, then we've been able to get into new markets and new opportunities and Zoho and markets, new customers. Yep, absolutely. So so now we have new product line, and we've got all sorts of interesting stuff happening. And Zoho is definitely a big part of that for sure.
So what was it when you first started using Zoho? When was this, and what problems? What was your process before and after?
Yeah, good question. So at the company, because it's so old, we had 22 offices, but it's almost like the Darwin's theory of evolution, because we had all these branches, but everybody had their own way of doing things. New president takes over, and he's like, okay, we want to try to take a look at the bigger picture here, and we want to try to instead of competing against a bunch of small companies, let's try to compete and take advantage of a bigger company, right? And so I was put in as a director of sales. And so we had branches had ACT in place and different things. So we started with the CRM first.
Yeah.
And so went through a big process with that. It was 2 years, interviewed all these different companies, and we're not very unique in the sense of what our business process is, but we had stuff that was very, very important to us, which was we build this customized estimator. And so we had all the big guys come in, and it was, it was crazy because I'd spent my whole life in sales, and then being on the other side of the table, now you're making the decision on which CRM we use. That's a pretty crazy spot to be in.
Yeah.
Right? Because now you're the buyer.
Right.
And so Zoho made me feel most comfortable that they were going to be flexible enough. Nobody had ever heard of them. My IT department at our parent company was really saying, are you crazy? I mean, because, that old saying, you don't get fired for buying IBM.
Right.
But I had the conviction to say that these are the guys that make me feel most comfortable, and they're also the best of value.
And how did they do that? So, we were talking to Sridhar, their CEO, a few hours ago, and we attend a lot of conferences and talk to a lot of business leaders, but I really found what he was talking about to be very unique in terms of the philosophy and the cultural importance that they place on their employees to be able to deliver great customer experiences. Was that part of the thing that you saw that was unique about Zoho? And then the fact that you were saying IT didn't know it and they thought I might be crazy for picking a solution. What really drew you?
Well, I think that I felt that everybody else came with something canned. I felt like a number. And I was even with one company, I even called up their salesperson and coached them to say, okay, you're coming to see us. Here's what I need you to cover. This is the points, because they were going to be with our president. And of course, they came with the same canned presentation, and I just was thinking in my seat. So I felt that I felt that I would have this very customized solution, and I felt that the philosophies, I didn't believe them at first, to be honest with you. I did go to India with Zoho, and I saw that it's real.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just talk; it's real. Like, I mean,
What's real?
The culture. They take care of their employees. They have their own hospital. The food is like amazing that they give to their employees. It's all organic food that they give them, and everybody seemed really engaged and really happy. Like, it's like, hey, can I get a job here? Right? I mean, it seems like a place that I want to work.
Yeah.
So so I was fortunate that they took me there, and then we went to the farm where they built. They grow a lot of food, and yeah, it's really. I mean, it seems as though.
Wait, explain the farm, because we haven't talked about
We
the show yet.
talked about that yet.
Well, he's got this humongous farm. It's filled with children. He's got schools there. He's really helping the community out. He's got jobs for people. He's trying to uplift the community. He's also looking for talent as well, too. So for his company, so he has ways that people from the community can actually get a job at Zoho eventually. So he's looking for talent in amongst the people that are there, and he's uplifting the community. It's a beautiful farm. It's all organic. He's very.
I hate to say it's such an organic approach to building his business, building the Zoho business.
It's very unique.
It's very unique, and he just seems very authentic. Like, he's more interested in talking about his farm than he was talking about Zoho, right? I mean, and very passionate about that. So it seems as though, like, he built Zoho up, and I'm talking from the outside here. Like, I'm not sure, but it seems like from my perspective as a customer, he started Zoho to sort of fund his farming and community, right, raising his community. Like, it's so. I mean, that's pretty amazing from a customer perspective to see that, and very motivating, and made me feel happy that you're part of that, right?
You get to advise them on a roadmap, R&D. Is there any sort of kind of symbiosis in your relationship with them to help them go, this is what we need. You don't have it yet. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of relationship?
I've had conversations with all the senior staff from a very humble perspective on exactly how they can make my life easier. Right. And so I felt that it was pretty authentic, and I felt that they have my best interest at heart as a customer.
So interesting. Have you changed your own sales process as a result of not just the use of the software, which I want to talk about, but that approach?
I think so. Yeah, because I think the thing is, like, really making our customers' jobs easier. And I say that to our sales team all the time. We don't need to sell them. We just need to focus on making their job easier. So I think from that perspective, yes, I have changed my sales process from that perspective.
My dad was in sales, and he would say that all the time. He's like, I don't have to sell anything. Mm-hmm. I just got to figure out if I can help them solve their problems, and then they'll buy it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Speaking of problem solved, talk to me now, guy. I'm a marketer. Yeah. How has the marketing process evolved and changed as a result of leveraging the Zoho technologies? I imagine things are more streamlined, more automated. Mm-hmm. Marketing's happier, sales is happier. But give us that kind of positive business outcome view.
Yeah, I think it's pretty positive. For one thing, like, we're lucky that I look after the sales and the marketing at the company, and I didn't know how important that was until I actually started doing that, because you could actually, I empathize with the marketing team and I empathize with the sales team, and then we try to work together. Yeah. So really, the job that we see of the marketing team in our company, and this is not unique by any means, but it's to find qualified leads for our salespeople. They need to enable the salespeople and find, help them with the messaging, help them with the content, and 50% of our marketing is internal, because we're creating these new products, and we got to figure out how do we market this to our people so they know what how many people. We have 130 salespeople, but 1,200 employees.
Okay.
Right. So what's the messaging? Again, it's all very basic for somebody of your history with marketing. But for us, it was fairly new. And but I think what I like about the Zoho product specifically was they were very easy to pick up and use. Like, we didn't get training on them. We had our marketing, we have our plan, we have our strategy from a digital perspective, and how we're going to create leads and create demand for our products. How we're going to run shows, like events through like Zoho, the show app that we use, and it was all very intuitive. And then it integrated with our CRM seamlessly. So it was quite a easy experience, I would say. Like,
your industry is so dynamic right now. I own stock in a company called Comfort Systems, and I've owned it for quite a long time.
Yeah, I know Comfort Systems. Yeah,
they'll probably buy your company at some point. They do a lot of acquisitions, but what has happened in their business the last 4 or 5 years? I've been following the company for 15 years. Fantastic change relating to COVID. Yeah, and sort of having Comfort Systems is more like HVAC stuff, but they and electrical. But they post-COVID office buildings are different, and now we've got AI, a data center, and cooling. Yeah. which is a huge business, and I would imagine it's impacting the.
Oh, it is. Yeah, we're just going to release our new product like any day now. It's called Data Force One, and it uses natural refrigerant, saves 30% energy for data centers, which is huge because data centers all about incoming power. So the energy bill they don't care about, but it's the incoming power. So our solution, we're working with a major chip manufacturer, saves 30% energy over the other alternatives, which means they could have more, use that towards more storage or something like that.
The big numbers Hewlett Packard put out yesterday were successful because their liquid cooling in their servers were so hot.
Yep.
That was a pun fully intended.
I got it.
I'm sorry. I can't help myself. But so given that dynamism in your industry, it would seem like your need for this product's even greater.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because it's 50% marketing's internal, but also we're now branching into district heating and cooling, where we're heating, cooling whole neighborhoods with one system. We're getting into data centers. We're getting into EV cooling stations.
Well, there's also this thing called climate change.
Climate change was a huge driver, right? And so even when I say we're in the refrigeration business, we're not anymore. We're in the thermal business because for every unit of energy you put into one of our systems, you get 3 units of thermal energy, which can be used for heating, cooling, or refrigeration. So it's about recycling that energy. And I don't want to get through a big scientific talk on you here, but it's the evolution of our products to solve the needs of climate change, get off natural gas, and make sure that our the refrigerants, if they do leak, don't end up in our atmosphere and cause more heating. So
it's huge. I mean, that's obviously globally impactful. We're talking about climate change here, but what I'm hearing, David, from your use case with Zoho is it enabled you were selling to your install base for a very long time, and enabled you to get into net new markets, net new business. In fact, I saw a case study on the Zoho website about CIMCO that said something about a 20% increase in sales that the technology has facilitated. I imagine it's probably even more than that as you're now getting into completely new products yourself.
Yeah, like earlier in the conversation, I talked about this whole Darwin and evolution and everything like that. So just by bringing the salespeople together, putting them on one process, there was no right or wrong process. Nobody had a right or wrong process. We just took elements of all of them and made a process. And then we were able to measure and manage and coach. And I think from the CRM perspective, the biggest thing for me was when we're coaching with data, then we were able to really come from a good spot. Like we weren't there to fire people. Like, if you wear the sweater, you're on the team. We would do everything you can to try to coach the people. The hockey. Yeah, the hockey, right? So that was our philosophy. And that was one of the first things out of the gate that was really powerful for us. So it was a long implementation. We went through every single branch and we had to sell them on using this. But we have 100% adoption for our CRM.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well, because it meets our process. So it was designed by sales, not by finance. No offense to any finance people out there, but... yeah, so it's made for salespeople, and so it makes their job easier. Yeah, that was the main thing, and Zoho allowed.
And who doesn't want that? Make my job easier. Enable the internal folks and the external folks to come together to deliver what customers need. Make that experience as seamless as possible and personalized and relevant. Last question in our last 30 seconds, David.
Sure.
You have a breakout session coming up in a short while. Give our audience here at 6.5 kind of an overview of the top 3 things the audience today is going to take away.
Yeah, I think that really I'm going to just reiterate that Zoho is very easy to use. Like I'm not an IT person. I'm not a computer person at all. I'm able to do changes. I'm able to do it myself. I don't need to wait for an IT person to do something for me. So most of the stuff I do myself within there. If I need to change something, do something, report on something,
No code.
No code, and I have no IT experience at all. So I think I don't need it, right? And I think that all the products integrate together. I think it's tremendous value. And I think that and I guess the third point that I would want to get across to everybody is it's real. Like, I mean, from a company perspective, you should feel good about working with Zoho and supporting them because I think it's a good mission that they have and they certainly have some good products available to help make your job easy.
Well, and you've seen that mission firsthand. That's pretty cool. And that's actually pretty unique. David, we so appreciate you joining us on 6.
Yeah, thank you.
Sharing the story and all the successes that you guys have had.
Great
Congratulations. We'll continue to watch.
Okay, shake it.
Maple Leafs, Texas Rangers,
No Stanley Gaunt.
We've got more coming from the Zoholics conference in Austin, Texas when 6.5 Live continues.